Welcome back, everybody, to HGC Korea. We have our third and final best of 5 tonight here. We're going to have a winner's match of sorts, as you like to call it, and it's going to be L5 against Mighty.
And Mighty, of course, is the underdog that brought the upset in day number 1, defeating MVP Miracle 3-2. It was a long best of series, but still, we saw some great actions coming out from Mighty. And as an underdog, defeating Miracle, who looked like they were still working on some of their styles, but Mighty just took that advantage and stomped them down at the end.
Absolutely. Magi, really the hero, I'd say, in that. It was all about his fall stat. That's really what won them the best of 5 in the end. And that's something to look out for as Falstad has kind of been ruling this draft. Let's take a look at L5's intro video, though. For those who don't know them very well, we're going to kind of bring it forward here so you guys can actually know more about the team.
There were ballistics before.
That's right. So this is going to be a video that kind of describes where they come from, what they're feeling about what happened most recently, and, of course, moving into the 2017 season and this new format that we have for Korea. Let's take a look at that video.
저희 이번에 슈퍼리그와 블리즈컨과 골드리그를 우승하고 온 L5입니다. 블리즈컨보다 슈퍼리그 우승한 게 더 기분 좋았어요. 그동안 이기고 싶은 팀을 이겨서 더 기분 좋았던 것 같아요.
그냥 다들 다 똑같이 말하는 게 되게 실감이 안 나고 이게 막 우승한 건지도 잘 모르겠는 그런 느낌이었어요. 근데 통장에 돈이 들어오니까 좀 실감이 났어요.
저희 팀 분위기가 지금은 엄청 좋고
서로 잘 얘기해서 계속 같이 가게 됐어요.
성적이 좋으면 계속 가는 게 뭐 당연하지 않나 생각해요. 다른 팀의 그 시너지가 좋냐 안 좋냐에 따라서 저희가 다시 독주를 할 수도 있고 아니면 저희가 오히려 리빌딩이 잘 된 팀한테 당할 수도 있을 것 같아요. 목표는 2위 안까지 꾸준히 가는 거예요.
정화가 되게 잘해요. 원래 잘하긴 했는데 요즘에 보면은 그냥 원탑 수준으로 되게 잘하고, 그리고 노블레스는 그냥 말이 필요 없는 뱀픽과 오더 그리고 피지컬도 되게 좋은 애라고 생각해서
뭐 맨날 저희 팀 경기 보면 저만 잘하면 이기는 것 같아요. 저를 주목하면 될 것 같아요.
저희 팀도 이렇게 다 우승할 줄 몰랐는데 저번 시즌 블리즈컨 우승해보니까 좀 별거 아니더라고요, 다들. 이번 시즌도 많이 응원해주시면 감사하겠습니다.
저희 팀 이번에도 많이 좋아해 주시고 사랑해 주세요.
L5 with a 3-0 win over Supreme Mixtape are currently in the top of the list with their 3-0 perfect score. They will need to, of course, win again today to maintain that top spot. A win 3-0 would put them at +6. But I don't know if Mighty is going to make things that easy. As we see, Jung-ah gets the hot pack here to make sure his hands stay warm. At least I think that was what was tossed at him.
Well, L5 is the defending champions of Super League Season 3, I believe, and then they went to BlizzCon and the Gold Champions League.
The final champions of Super League, winning 3 back-to-back tournaments. BlizzCon, the easiest of the 3 they won. They won Super League before that, which was significantly harder, and then won against international teams in China, which was like the second hardest of the 3. But they won all 3 fairly dominantly. And Noble S here, the key player on tank, did actually run Varian, and it's something that they're going to be looking to use against the Zeratul players especially. Now we've seen if Zeratul makes it through that ban phase. We'll see if Mighty actually wants to run the Zeratul. It's not something they've really prioritized highly. And Sans, someone that we might see run it. He's definitely a very flexible player, has made big improvements. I think this is going to be a tougher match for L5 than what they did against SMT, but I think they're still massively the favorites. Let's take a look at their opponents, though, in Mighty. Oh, I thought we were going right into it. I'm sorry, G-Clef.
No, it's okay.
I failed.
L5 still had that meta. Let's go take a look at Mighty right now.
저희 팀은 전 슈퍼리거 4명이랑 새로 들어온 신인 순둥이라는 사람이랑 같이 시작하게 되었어요.
다른 프로팀들하고 상대 아직 운영적인 부분이랑 그런 게 좀 조금씩 부족한데 저희가 좀만 더 연습하면 이제 프로팀도 대적할 수 있게 될 수 있을 것 같아요.
전에는 그래도 그냥 참가만 하자로 생각하고 그랬었는데 이번에는 좀 진지하게 높이 올라가보자 그렇게 생각하고 친 거라 가지고 전보다 훨씬 좋아지고 이제 더 높은 곳을 향해 올라갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
이번에 처음 대회에 나오는 신동 선수가 키플레이어인 것 같아요. 다른 딜러들하고 비교해보면 전혀 꿀리지 않고 더 잘할 수 있는 모습을 보여주는 것 같아요.
저희 막내 마기가 처음에 왔을 때는 포지션을 바꾸면서 와가지고 적응도 제대로 못하고 그랬는데 이제 점점 적응되면서 엄청 기량이 늘어나는 게 보이거든요. 아마 이제 대회 때는 최상급 선수들이랑 비슷하게 되지 않을까 그렇게 생각해요. 저희 이번 시즌 목표는 상위 팀들에게 주눅들지 않고 팀원들과 열심히 해서 세계대회에 나가는 게 목표입니다.
네, 저희가 이번 대회 HGC를 처음 나가는데 더 좋은 모습 많이 보여줘서 이제 이번 시즌 높이 올라가서 저희가 한번 세계대회까지 한번 노려보겠습니다. 감사합니다.
There you have it. Mighty, a much tougher opponent for L5 than SMT. Magi, the key player, as far as I'm concerned. I talked earlier about Sands making big improvements. I said it yesterday, I'll say it again for those who missed it. Many people considered him to be, of the 40 players in Super League Season 3, the absolute worst. A lot of jokes made about him in both the foreign and Korean scene. But he looked really good yesterday. Magi looked the best. His foul set is terrifying. Nasong made some sick plays. And Joker, on paper, was always the strongest player in this roster. He doesn't look any worse than he did when he was on Rave.
I personally think Joker actually carried some of the games yesterday. As an ETC, he was always very strong in the front line. As you can see, he was a key player keeping that ETC, and Johanna also into the Infernal Shrine at the end. He was keeping that line pretty strong, not getting caught maybe a few times in the middle, but still, he was one of the best tanks we've seen. Like, we see a lot about the tanks and the supports. That's the meta, because when you have, before the team fight, if tank goes in way too deep, like Konkano, I just have to pick on Konkano for once, then your team basically have to follow you, or when you don't have that mashup with the team, you can just fall by yourself.
There's definitely a lot of you have to be conservative at times. There's a lot of decision making that goes into when to go, but mostly it's about that team synergy. And Joker, I mean, ever since he played on Rave, since the first season of OGN in 2015, Super League, he's been a great ETC player. He's switched roles a few times, he's been around a lot of teams, but now he's back where he belongs. ETC is still very much meta. And many analysts looking at how Mighty played yesterday point towards Joker's play. I think Magi pushed the boundaries of Falstad Soak and was great there as well. We're going to be starting off on Mighty's map pick Cursed Hollow. L5 did win the coin toss, and they will take first pick.
And as L5, they also have some of the old TNL members. They were famous for the strongest opponents in the Spider Queen, so Mighty went ahead and banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen, and L5 actually a little bit surprising they banned out Towers of Doom.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. Not entirely sure what the idea is on that one. I know Sans plays a mean Medivh. So that's something they might be considering, as Sans one of the first Medivh players as well. We did a lot of experimentation last season, as well as Gul'dan.
It did not work so perfectly, but still he's in a new team, and so far it's working out a lot better, so it seems.
Absolutely. Well, as mentioned, this will be the first ban for L5. Which means they will have control, should they want it, of the Falstad pick. Take that away from Magi. I'm going to go ahead and ban Varian here first off, which means they might actually be pushing for a Zeratul pick. That's what it shows, kind of like if you're looking for that. Falstad ban means I think they may just simply grab this Zeratul. It's available to them.
Yeah, it is also one of the darker maps, and if you have a stealth hero, it is. The pros. For the first map, it is not so hard to really have that your eyes on the map to see the stealth heroes, but still, it is. But they go ahead and choose Vala over Zeratul.
With Vala picked up right now, it's not the double Vala that pairs with the Tassadar. There's so much that Mighty can consider now. With the kind of strange ban baiting that we've seen from these two teams, Mighty could now grab Zarya. Absolutely a possibility, something that we haven't really seen all too often because it's almost perma-banned in this tournament. So Zarya is something we could see come through here. They can't deny Tastar from L5 either reasonably, so that's a little bit frustrating.
Having Zarya and Tastar, that is maybe too much shielding and losing some of the damage that you can actually do. Zarya is especially good on this map with that expulsion zone because you have to be, you're kind of, when they're getting that tribute, you're kind of forced to be in that small zone, so to say, but actually they go towards Tastar instead because they chose Vala first of all.
This could be some sort of other variation of unkillable. When you have Tastar and Tyrael, you know, you think back to Summer, this looks like Illidan. It screams Illidan.
It seems like it. It has the potential to bring up, and then L5, they're actually thinking right now, what are they trying to do?
They're just going all the way in with this composition. Mighty is, you know, with what's been given to them. They're saying, all right, you've given us a bunch of tools that don't all work together. We're going to force them together with Tyrael, Tassadar. Ragnaros is no surprise. Malfurion left available to L5. They're going to pick that one up too. Mighty's currently banning. It's not an easy ban here for Mighty. They want to try to ban a counter to what they have. I think if you ban even like a Muradin here, it's like screaming like Illidan, Illidan, Illidan. There's no way they can secure the Illidan if that's what they're really going for here, because it could just simply be banned.
Or they can just go ahead and grab a Greymane if they want to.
Sure.
And then just combo with that Sank and all the shield. They don't have to go with Illidan. It's a choice, but they can make a lot of choices. And before they do have to decide on this ban, they have to ban out. Smarter choice will be an ETC, as they do go ahead and ban out ETC right away. I know Joker probably wants that ETC on the front line, but still giving it to Noblesse can be a bigger trouble in a way.
A ban at Tracer. They're worried about Tracer TAS. I don't think this is Mighty's plan. And I think that we're leaning more towards the Greymane or the Illidan here.
More towards those
The
melee
melees.
assassins, yes.
Yeah. This is the Tracer is quite strong with Tassadar, but doesn't have quite the pairing with Tyrael.
I think
that she
they
does with
scrimped
Tas.
way too much against MVP Black against Kyocha. maybe that's why they're just getting it out of the way so they don't have to think about it.
Well, if they're going to pick up the melee assassin, they probably will do it here and save their last pick for Flex. I'd say
They can also pick up Li Ming here. It's a good chance. You need at least some poking in there when they're to stop them from channeling.
I think that grabbing Li Ming and say Rhaegar here is really cool. Okay, they're just going to go ahead and go with.
It's gonna be, I guess, unless they pick up Li Ming at the very end, it's gonna be all in Greymane.
It's
Stay
all in.
alive, Team Calm.
This is super duper all in what they're doing here. So Li Ming is off the cards. And L5 are going to have a tough time with this one, with what they have currently. Vala can do so much damage to tanks and can just do a lot of poking, but killing Greymane will be so difficult. That's going to be the task they're faced with here. They may even want to consider a Brightwing. Even though they already have Malfurion, maybe bring another sort of polymorph-esque type hero into this.
Because Mighty's going all in team fight right now. L5 may just want to go all in macro, but they still have Vala, who's more of a team fight hero, but they have to change in a way that they can go macro at least a little bit in this huge map.
Johanna would be a great pick here, I think. It's definitely something they want to bring in for the blinds here. There's almost no ability damage here on Mighty besides the Psystorm, the poking from Zarya. It's going to be Muradin for the attack speed slows instead of the blind, and the Li Ming, not a surprise here at all. Let's see if they really... I mean, I'd say there's almost no way they don't either pick up Rhaegar or Kharazim here. If it's going to be Rhaegar, it's not going to be Bloodlust. It's going to be Ancestral, I'd imagine. And if it's Kharazim, it's going to be for the Palm. If they want to solo support Tassadar...
Maybe they're thinking of, I think they're thinking of solo Tassadar support. I think that is possible, but not really common, but still, I think it's reasonable somewhat because they have so much shield. I don't think they even need heal. But so for the sustain, maybe they do. I mean, but maybe they just want to pick up some, maybe global, maybe even Brightwing. That might be possible.
Brightwing is actually not a bad choice here. They're going to go with the Rhaegar instead. This is going to be all about Greymane.
Literally, yes.
The new sitcom, all about Greymane. We'll see if he can actually do what needs to be done. If he dies for any reason, if he's caught alone without shields for any reason, this entire team falls apart. L5, just looking at their camera shot we had there earlier, they don't look concerned in any way about this composition. They've got the Muradin. We'll see if that's enough here. L5 in their second matchup here against Mighty. One of these teams is going to walk away with a loss. We'll find out which one at the end of this best of 5. We're starting it off on Cursed Hollow. I'm Wolf, with me as G-Clap, and we'll see you in game. L5 in blue. SC on Vala, Nachogen on Li Ming, Junga on Ragnaros Noblesse on Muradin, and Swoi on Malfurion.
전투 시작까지 10초.
And when I was about to say in red,
Who's HGC K Rob 2? Why is he pausing the game?
he robbed the game.
No way he's
Oh, there's some frame drops lagging from Mighty's side, so it looks like they're gonna check into that before we go into the game. Of course, it is always better to check that before we go into anything.
Yeah.
But I was
just just making jokes about the OB, of course, but I'm actually really excited for how this one's gonna pan out because this is some old school, basically not seen for a really long time. Like, what Mighty saw when they saw the bans, they saw like the magical picture of, we're going to do this all-in gray main comp. They're not going to necessarily see it coming. We have this planned out. We're going to go back in time. We're going to see if what used to work before can work now in 2017.
And also, surprisingly, L5 did not. Both teams actually did not pick a single global hero, I believe. And L5 also took that. They're usually favoring macro, and they were famous starting from the macro meta, and then the meta changed into macro meta, and the L5 really took that into Season 3, and they went all the way to BlizzCon. It is still continuing even bigger as we see it in Korean season right now, but this is like the only match that we've seen that both sides have full team fight composition. If you are not a big fan of all that macro play because there's not as much team fight, this will be a great game to watch for you.
I really feel, not everyone agrees on this, but I really feel that part of the reason why this composition went away, a lot of people point at the sanctification cooldown, like, oh, that's the reason. It's all they nerfed it. It's no longer good. I really feel like the reason why this style that we're seeing from Mighty disappeared was because the mount speed changes. You can't rotate as quickly. You can't force these fights. You can't go full China like you once used to be able to. And macro, it will win out if L5 can just ignore them, out-rotate them, and move. They don't have global heroes to do that with, but they can just still simply avoid fights, soak better, get 10 first, and start to snowball the game.
They will have some strategies. They brought it, but it actually looked like when L5 picked that first pick, Vala, and started to see what kind of team comp that Mighty was trying to make, they were stalling. They were waiting a little bit, trying to think, what the heck are they trying to make? And they actually followed that into, and then I think they had a very solid comp. But as you said before, Mighty, if they lose Greymane, it is not game over still, but they have no chance of contesting at all. They will just lose everything for the next minute or so.
It's basically game over if Greymane dies. They have no damage afterwards. Depending on how they build Zarya, she might have like a little bit of damage, a little bit of poke, but
Yeah, depending on the energy charge, but some poking, but still, compared to Greymane, there's no burst.
It's basically pure melee as well at that point. Greymane is half melee, right? And this is pre-patch Greymane, so this would be stronger if he had his armor. But anyways,
I'm personally very excited.
Yeah, no, I am as well. Like, Zarya can do some range damage, but
yeah, of course.
The thing is, we talk about, if Greymane dies, it's all over, but will he ever die? He's definitely going to go Wizened Duelist, 100%, because with he's basically got 4 supports,
basically.
give or take. Like, Zarya is going to act as a support here. That does a lot. A very strong support that does damage.
Rhaegar heal.
Rhaegar's got the heals, Tastar's the shield, and Tyrael's the utility support that gives movement speed, shields.
And sanctification. We'll be right on there whenever Greymane is about to die. So basically, let's go right into game.
It's actually cool because we have this pause, we actually get to talk about comps before we get into the action. We don't normally get to do that. STE is going to be on the Greymane. Played some really good Li Ming yesterday, and excited to see how he does on the main. He's going to be going Wolfheart here. Not going to be doing a cocktail build, of course, with this type of all-in gray main.
Wolf talking about Wolf.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird, isn't it, to hear me do that? Well, one of the things that L5 can do as well against this type of comp is to kite it. There's not a lot of range. Greymane's the only one, so they kind of just poke, kite it away. You know, I was thinking we might see a W-oriented build from Ragnaros just simply because you can actually poke, do a little bit more range, get some stacks as he just kind of keeps getting that up to, you know, more damage eventually, and having the quest completed and have the reversal as well. For some reason, I can't remember the name of the talent. But anyways, you guys know the talent I'm talking about. So if that was one thing that they definitely could go for, or could have gone for, but they have ranged in Li Ming. She can poke. She went power hungry, so she's actually going to be able to increase her ability damage and to do range damage once globes are taken. And she's going to have more mana overall. And then we see the Hungering Arrow build for ability power damage onto Greymane from Vala, because her auto attacks just aren't going to be that effective against all the shielding.
That's true. You basically covered what I have to say.
Sorry, I'm like,
game.
I guess I'm just a really mean guy who hogs all the info. I'm like, I got it all.
That Vala actually going for a Q build with Monster Hunter. I really like that build. It's not super common. It's more common on like maps like BOE or like Haunted Mines, possibly. But still on this map, to taking that boss and trying to keep the camp going around because they don't have so much macro. Maybe they're trying to just speed up the camping. And Mighty, they already started camping already. They're the first one to start. So let's see how L5 reacts to this, because they've been staying in line. They've been staying in lane pretty well. They're also camping, but a little bit slower for now.
Well, they don't have the type of solo camp hero, almost jungler type, that Greymane will allow to give this early camp that Mighty has. Really unfortunate spawn for Mighty, because this tribute is right next to their siege giant, so this will allow L5 to contest with all the poke they have, especially with Li Ming and Malfurion, while also clearing this. So Noblesse positions himself to block Mighty out. They clear this and they control the tribute zone. Works out really well for L5, but Mighty's going to get some extra soak in the top lane during all of this with Tassar up there as he clears that camp for free. So in terms of tribute, this was a win for L5. In terms of EXP, I'd say it's definitely a Mighty win.
So Ragnaros has been soaking some EXP in the middle lane, so I'd say it's about half and half, maybe a little bit towards L5 as you said, but Mighty really trying to contest this bottom lane heavily. And it looks like Sands is pretty comfortable playing on that Zarya for now. But we'll see after hitting that level 10, the expulsion zone, as I mentioned, on the smoke choke point. If it lands right on that, it will just split the entire team into two. And then that is the time when Greymane just goes in and swipes all over, take the kills, go for the throw. And let's see if that happens in the game. I don't think L5 will literally just make that, let them do whatever they want to do too easily, but it can happen.
One thing I want to point out, if I can do it quickly enough, is really smart move by Noblesse to take control of the watchtower, remove that vision during this moment when he knows that Mighty will be camping, because that's what this Greymane pick is going to be for in the early game. Really, really a smart, subtle move by Noblesse to take that. Then they put pressure on the bot lane because they knew the camp was being taken. Their camp was already done. Lucky spawn here again for L5 with their position on the map right now. Mighty's going to try to cut them off on the retreat, but it's on their side of the map. It's on blue side. They can safely go behind walls here. They're going to have to deal with this camp, and that's what SC is working on right now. But they have so much poke. They should be able to buy time and get this and force the curse point, as I like to call it. One tribute away from curse. They have to clear this wave first. And basically the whole job right now of Nitrogen is to poke, keep them away here. Jungla's going to be able to help, of course, on Rag, so they can clear that wave.
I think Li Ming's very close to actually got cancelled in a way. Nice job by Sands right there. And Noblesse taken out already. SDA going full in. What a damage, but he also gets rooted, barely survives out from that root. What a play.
And this will be the tribute for Mighty. Despite what I was talking about earlier, Swoy, actually it looks like he will just barely escape. Joker out of mana here, will definitely need to retreat. Just barely missed that globe as well, so not going to get any more. He's going to want to go home and Hearth. A little bit of missed EXP in the mid lane. I actually want to see if those cannon towers are firing, because I think they might have been out of ammo. Or I don't know if they were just maybe out of range. But anyways, there were a few minions there that didn't die to the tower, so they were able to clear those up, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And it was just a slight EXP lead here, as now L5 takes their bruisers on the bot side of the map.
Noblest was trying to just take some aggro, and then I guess he didn't realize how much burst damage that Greymane plus Zarya could put. It was not just those two. Rehgar could also do some damage from the side when he just jumps in from that wolf form. And Noblest just melted away. It is still, he does not have that avatar still. So that was a little careless from Noblest to say, I guess.
Okay,
But
these
still.
towers were already killed. That's why that was happening. So that actually is kind of smart for L5 to take that moment to do a heavier rotation. Or rather, excuse me, Mighty do a heavier rotation because they know that the EXP will still be there for them when they get back.
Finally, a favorable tribute spawn for Mighty's side a little bit. But
Yeah.
not really, because they have their camp right next to them still.
Well, the
It's
really
not perfect.
the awkward thing here is that the Zarya rotation is very slow, and Rag is actually going to slow this down a little bit. And there's just simply not everybody here currently. SDE gets a great cocktail, actually, to deny this for just a moment. But it is actually going to go over to L5. They have 10. There's no way Mighty can contest. And because they actually decided to send Zarya down so late, she didn't even participate in the fight.
Yeah.
And this push continues in the top lane, already down onto the fort. She lost wall, and these are still healthy Siege Giants. They actually might lose this this health pool. It looks like they will. And because they had to rotate back to deal with that, and they didn't have 10, L5 even threatens a boss. Nice scout here, though, by Mog, using that Oracle to come over here and get vision of that. They're still going to commit, though, and Zarya is still in top lane. Still hasn't finished dealing with those Siege Giants. There's the blow-up onto Tyrael, and I think this will actually allow this boss to be taken for L5. It does reset, though. That's so unfortunate.
That is reset, but still L5 just has that lead. So, and then Mighty just forced back, even though they can contest, but there's no way of winning that contest. So
Sands
they
is
just
messing up his rotation so bad, G-Clef.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right. He's just going.
he just went
back
mid
and
again
forth.
and missed it. Now he's going to lose the fort nearly here. It's so insanely low. He has to be more decisive.
And it's partially because of the tribute spawns on all the way down all the time. Now this is even going towards L5 side, so like literally they're just gonna grab it. And even with that boss push, they can go. And then this is the time when Mighty decides to go jump in. SDE doing some damage at the front line. Jungha is caught by that Greymane, but will he be safe? Looks like the shield is gonna save SDE for the moment. But the backline Joker is a little bit of trouble.
Every second this fight goes on is a win for L5 because the boss continues to push here on Curse. They weren't even able to really damage it before the Curse was taken, so it's at full health. Look at the mid fort as well. It's already so low. The top fort was killed because Sands left the lane earlier without protecting it. The Siege Giants basically killed it alone. So the top push is going to start putting pressure on the top keep wall. The mid keep is going to be pressured by minions alone. And there's a strong L5 push here from the bot. They need to get picks right now to really counteract the damage. Sulfuric Smasher doing a lot of damage.
Very nice counteract by L5. SDE going full in to get the kill, but Tyrael is the one that actually blows up. Sands also very low, Nitrogen getting reset, and SDE is in trouble. No one to actually take care of Greymane from the back. They're running away. I think they risked it. They risked it. Really, it was a risk and return, but there was no return at the end. But still, they had to make a choice. They were getting pushed. Boss was coming. They were going a little more aggressive, so Mighty thought it was their chance. But L5 had a plan. They had the plan how to counteract to their engage.
Basically, this comp for Mighty needs to be super tight. It needs to be, the team fighting needs to be perfectly coordinated, and Mighty needs to be the team that's forcing team fights. But L5, with that push, forced Mighty to come to them. The pickoff onto Joker caused them to lose the fight from the beginning. They can't win this without Tyrael. It is just simply impossible. Yeah. And down a talent tier, it's even harder. All the lanes are pushed now, which means Mighty will have an opportunity to soak for free because the lanes are so safe right now. That's why L5 goes ahead and takes this. They have a lot of free EXP they can get to at least be on 13 to 15, but they can't even threaten Curse Point, and they can't boss. So they need to force team fights. That's what they were looking for. They even went Bloodlust here. I'm not 100% sure how I really feel about that. They need to be the ones forcing fights, and now they're so far behind. I don't know if they ever would be able to.
They're just going like 100% all in on that Greymane. SDE He's been doing pretty well. He's been staying in that front position. He's actually going super aggressive, like trusting his teammates, doing some damage, but that's it. And the fact that he can only aim for one target at once. They have Vala and Li Ming. They have two potential damage dealers compared to Greymane just focusing on one. L5 can just dodge Greymane and then just go back forth, and then when it's their chance, Valkyrian can just pop that Twilight Dream, and that's their chance, which they exactly executed last time. And Mighty, they lost the keep at 9 minutes. That does not
It
look
looks
too good.
grim. Joker really well positioned here to actually start to dismount and scout without Druid's Might. The camp actually gets aggroed, and they're going to try to take it here. L5 gets zoned out here by this wall. We'll see if they can grab the keep. Huge sulfuric smash, though. Bloodlust used here. Safe. There's a lot of, retreat here on the side of L5 as many heroics are popped. Well, there's not enough heals, and now Grayman's dead, and that's it. See you later. Everyone's low, but who's going to get the kills? No one can.
Yeah, literally there's no damage. Greymane was the first one to pop, and the Mighty just, at that moment they knew they had no damage and they had to go back. And 3-level difference, and this boss is going to be gone so quickly, especially with this Vala on Q build. See that HP going away? Wow, it's insane. This actually, they can get the keep if they really want to go all in. Like, L5 is not the most aggressive team. They might actually take the game because the bot lane is pushing already so far. They Mighty, from here now on, they're going to lose. They're not going to know what to do.
I mean, there just isn't much for them to do. They're down a talent tier. L5 is moving towards 20. They have some pressure in the mid lane with that camp, but unfortunately, it's just going to make it tougher for them to get EXP once that lane's pushed, because it's not going to be safe. More poke coming out here from Jung-Ah to kind of lead the charge in this fight. Greymane is respawned. They will have Bloodless in 20 seconds. They have Expulsion Zone, but they don't have anything else. They can't Sank. They don't even have to go for the throat yet. Swoy pops the Ice Block. He's in good position here. A lot of cocktail damage actually coming out, but already Tyrael is dead. Jung-Ah does go down, but it's going to be a wipe here, and that will be game as this boss is on the core. L5 takes game one. Flying colors. Mighty had a team comp that was super all in, and it failed. They did not get the team fights they were looking for. They got out-rotated. They had some unfortunate tribute spawns against them.
That was true.
But in general, L5 just outclassed them there. Did not expect that game to be as one-sided. You and I were pretty hyped about the old versus the new in terms of compositions, but the new won out big time.
Mighty really, they had a strategy. It did not work perfectly against L5, and L5 had a pretty good answer against it. And that last one, I think they were way too pressured. Their Sank was not ready. It was on cooldown, probably about 15 to 20 seconds. SDA just decided to go in because that was literally their last chance. They were under so much pressure. They knew the boss was coming in. So took the last bait, but that was it. L5 taking a strong win over Mighty. L5 is probably one of the best, if not like solo the rank first, the best team in the world right now. They're the defending champions. Even if it does not macro, they've showed the power of their ability to team fight over, well, Greymane only team comp is not the hardest comp to fight against, but still, they knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. They got an early lead. They won that boss, and then things started to crumble from there. Once the boss pressure hit the bot lane really hard and the keep was threatened, L5 forced the fight to come to them. There's no poke, there's no range damage, so they can't just sit back and poke the boss and defend it. They have to go all in, they have to win a fight, but their comp is meant to take fights on even ground where they come in on the attack, not come in because they're forced to. So basically they were baited out to a fight. Try to kill us, because the boss is going to do damage no matter what. If you fail to kill us, the boss kills your keep anyways, or starts to, push towards the keep anyways. And we have curse against you. You have to fight us. You can't sit back and poke because you don't have poke. All you have is Greymane, and Zarya pokes a little bit. Tassaros drops his little Psystorm on there, and that's it. So the fight was forced at that moment. They split. They dealt with it. And it was just that simple. After that, the game started to snowball against them, and they never had any control.